Coming up, councillors vote to be on the same page for the future direction of athletics tracks in Ipswich. What could Booval look like with a new place plan? Shaping Ipswich Central could spell the end for troublesome fig trees. Springfield Parkway missing link a step closer. AWL continues with animal management, an updated Indigenous Accord, and the annual Galvanized Festival of Heritage. Mayor Teresa Harding joins the show after the August meeting of Ipswich City Council. It's Friday, August 28, 2026, and I'm Allan Roebuck. Welcome to Ipswich Today. This podcast acknowledges traditional owners and their connection to lands and waters we share. Ipswich Today is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. The following interview was recorded on August 27. Thank you for speaking with Ipswich Today, Mayor Harding.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on Ipswich Today.
I'm not sure where to begin this month. It's been another epic meeting of council, but let's go to the end first. That's where the notices of motion were, and we'll talk about two of the three. And after much controversy, a notice of motion on council's future direction on a new synthetic athletics track has been decided. It was sometimes tense. Did you feel it was constructive?
I thought it was constructive, Alan. I think that how decisions were made in the past, I think there was a lot of angst in the room, and it was very important, I think, for everyone to have a say and I think people worked through things quite well. We considered a joint notice of motion from Councillor Tilly and Councillor Madsen about the future of Bill Patterson Oval and obviously the synthetic track in the future. And I've got to say it was pretty much a reiteration of the notice of motion from Councillor Doyle last year, and I'm very grateful for the fact that Councillor Doyle did secure significant funding for the geotech and for some work last year as part of the budget amendment, and also secured $5 million in this year's council budget as well for some progress there. So what was really good, the common ground was that we all agree that significant work needs to happen at Bill Patterson Oval to have a decent grass track in the centre of Ipswich, but was also pointed out the fact that we're still going through a process on where's the best place to have a synthetic athletics track for Ipswich, and we're still on that process. A 19th option has reared its head, and we're looking at that at a workshop on the 8th of September. So I know it's a final destination for everyone and people want to know what those sites were, but we're still going through that deliberation. I
guess it's fair to say that nobody likes surprises, and the various athletics clubs based at Ipswich Central, the junior and the seniors, they were caught out, and I guess they really want to know, are councillors and yourself now on the same page when it comes to the future of Bill Patterson Oval?
I'd say yes, and this has been the great thing. I think that for a long time, and this is where Councillor Doyle has been a fierce advocate, and every time we talk about the synthetic athletics track, Councillor Doyle has always said, when are we going to speak to Little Athletics and to Ipswich and District Athletics Clubs so we can have those, stakeholder engagements, because that hasn't happened. And so when that surprise notice of motion came up with only 65 minutes notice, that's why the community was so upset, because, they were bypassed. So we've now got a system in place to make sure that they won't be bypassed, and they'll be consulted in the first instance before anything goes public.
Well, that'll be good news for the members of those clubs and supporters of those clubs. There was another notice of motion to announce the members of the Multicultural Advisory Committee, or to endorse who those members should be. When do we know who gets the Guernsey?
Look, yes, we did consider it today, and we received 34 amazing applications, so much so that we were only going to select 5, but it was just too difficult, so we've asked if we could, we've now agreed to have 6, and we have another 5 people on an order of merit just in case, things happen. I'm not quite sure when. We haven't informed those successful applicants yet, so I think give us a week or two to do that, and then we can announce who they are.
That'll be good news overall. Before we get to other items on the council agenda, I just want to divert a little bit to the place plans, including the much promoted Booval place plan. What could change around Booval?
A very good question, and we're doing the place plans in Rosewood and Booval, and the Booval one's looking from the station, through to Booval Fair, and it is a hub, and I think it'd be really good. We're looking forward to that conversation with the community on what they would like to see there as well. From a planning perspective, we can put certain mechanisms in there, but it also can focus our funding on what either beautification or what kind of businesses people want there, what kind of what people would like in that part of Booval, and I think it'll be a great thing. It's a thriving area, and I look forward to hearing from residents on that.
Another public consultation that has closed recently, and that's the shaping of Ipswich Central. That closed on August 2nd. What's been the level of feedback for that?
The top of town is a very iconic and important part of our city's heart, and that Brisbane Street refresh remains a concept that's still in the development phase with no final decisions. So we haven't received a report yet. Obviously, the consultation is closed. Council officers are going through that, and they're preparing a report for that to come to council. I do know there's a lot of interest in the fig trees. Their root systems have managed to break into the drainages, which is why they grow so well, because they've got this wonderful water source. But they also are creating issues when it comes to damaging heritage buildings as well. So we'll have to look at something there. I think car parking is another thing that's really topical. I know from my perspective, I don't want to see any car parks removed. Council actually pays quite a bit of money for the car parking behind Fourth Child there. So I certainly don't want to do anything as our city grows to diminish the number of car parks there. So we'll see what the community has said.
I guess the idea of a fig tree there, or fig trees, was a good idea at the time, but probably more thought should have been given, because I know personally I avoid parking under them because trees have birds in them, and therein lies another problem.
It is. And look, we're always wise in retrospect. So we'll try to make a decision that I guess councils don't have to undo in 50 years' time.
That'd be good. Let's go back to the council meeting. The Infrastructure Planning and Assets Committee report, a big discussion on data centres. I've got to say I'm not surprised that came up. What's the general view around the table?
Obviously, it's an emerging area. AI and streaming services and people are using these services a lot, and there's a bigger and bigger demand for data centres. And council has a couple of applications in for data centres. So tomorrow we'll be actually, if you go to Shape Your Ipswich, we'll be releasing some fact sheets. So sort of what council can and can't do, what the state's doing and what the feds are doing. And that's probably complicated at the moment with the fact that the state and the feds are still having that conversation. But for us, from a planning perspective, anything to do with water, we'll be doing with urban utilities, anything to do with power, Energex and the state will be dealing with that. But council will still certainly look at things such as noise, size, and all that sort of stuff that we normally do with town planning. So, I guess it's a new ground, and certainly what has come up is looks like there'll be an obligation for data centres to do what the solar farms and battery farms have to do, which is a social impacts assessment, as well as a community benefits agreement as well. And we haven't done one of those in our council, so we're going through that process now. It
certainly feels like a fast-moving agenda, and I'm sure everyone will be interested to see where that actually goes. The Finance and Governance Committee report presented to council this month. Something that didn't quite make it through because it was deferred at the committee, the revised media and corporate comms policy. It's not the first time a discussion on that has been deferred. Why the need for changes?
The state government brought in the Local Government Empowering Councils and Other Legislation Amendment Act back in March, and it received royal assent in March as well. It means that the most aspects of the media and corporate communications policy are no longer consistent with the Act, and our policies have to be consistent with the Act. So there's significant changes to that to line up with the Act. I was ready for it to come to council, but councils would like to have a further discussion. But at the end of the day, that policy needs to be consistent with the Act, which says that the mayor is the official spokesperson, and that all other elected representatives are also encouraged to communicate about local government matters in their capacity as a councillor.
Why do you think it's so difficult for councillors to agree on a policy or drag out the discussion on it?
You'd have to ask them. The state government were very clear that this is a clarification, that this is the way it has always been, that the mayor is the lead spokesperson. I have reached out to the councillors if they wish to discuss any parts of it. We've also had a workshop about it as well.
Also from the Finance and Governance Committee report, new arrangements are in place. Looks like a rollover of an existing contract for the Animal Welfare League to better, manage cats and dogs.
Council went to two providers, the Animal Welfare League as well as RSPCA, and the RSPCA declined to participate in that. The Animal Welfare League have done a terrific job there, and we discussed in council how much this space has moved from being cat and dog catchers to having a genuine care and concern for all the animals, and in particular rehoming them. The
Springfield Parkway duplication Stage 2 tender has been awarded. That's the stretch there up by Himbayumba School. I got the impression from the meeting the actual works was still some way off. What will this contract involve?
Look, we've got 3 stages of work there, and we did stage 1 and then 3, and this is the last stage. So the road will widen that road there to a total of 4 lanes, and also the roundabout at that Springfield Parkway, Topaz Road and Woodcrest Way will also be upgraded to a signalised intersection, and the road will be widened around the Springfield College Drive and Bridgewater Road, so as well as cycle lanes as well. So I think a really good outcome for our community, and it's been I think around a $60 million project over the last 6 years. So it's a massive investment in that area. It's probably the biggest road projects we've done as a council, and I think the people of Springfield will be very pleased when it's all done. I think
they'll be very pleased when it's done, Mayor Harding.
Yes. Yeah.
From the Community and Sport Committee report, there's an updated Indigenous Accord 2026 to 2031. What does this mean for Council, First Nations people and the city more broadly?
Can I just say, this is something that Ipswich City Council has actually been a leader in, and for 30 years we've had an accord of some sort, or a reconciliation action plan of some sort, and it's great to see that this is continuing. The new action, we looked at the things that we have achieved over the last 5 years, and things that we did plan to achieve. Everything from the First Nation Soldiers Memorial at the Soldiers Memorial Park through to the new ceremonial and remembrance place in Queen's Park. For the next 5 years, we've been asked by the community to increase cultural recognition and visibility across the city, to have stronger involvement of traditional owners in decisions affecting country, culture and heritage, and also greater support for youth leadership, community wellbeing, amongst other things.
Let's wrap it up with the fun stuff, and the Galvanized Festival of Heritage is back, another action-packed program.
I love Galvanized. It's just each year it just grows and evolves, and it starts Friday next week and runs for 10 days, and we've got about 30 unique events. So it's in its 6th year, and we have I think a highlight this year is the return of the Great Places of Ipswich tour on the 12th of September, and we'll have access to historic places such as the Chestnuts and Rosilli. Also the Queen's Park Pavilion, which is a beautiful building in Queen's Park, and you often don't get to see inside it. We'll be hosting a series of sessions on restoring, styling and renovating heritage homes. And I guess going with a bit more of the history theme, not necessarily Ipswich history, but with History Alive, with a journey through time with knights and shining armour, battling it out with Viking warriors and Roman soldiers, and it'll be a great time up at the showgrounds.
That sounds like a little bit borrowed there from the Caboolture Festival, Mayor Harding.
It is. I'm also pleased to see that we've got local Indigenous artist Anne Leon, who's doing a storyline art and yarning workshop as well, and an introduction to Dulma history as well at the Queen's Park Ceremonial Healing and Remembrance Place. So it'll be our first formal workshop there at the new Remembrance place in Queen's Park. It's lovely to see. And we have the Marburg Meander and the Rosewood Ramble on Saturday the 5th of September. So it's going to be a fantastic day out in the west as well.
There's plenty on, that's for sure. So the website has all the details. On that note, Mayor Harding, we'll leave it there. Thanks for speaking with Ipswich Today.
Thanks, Alan.
And that wraps up episode 526. Just a reminder, you can check out the handy links in the show notes. Ipswich Today is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. This podcast is also listener-supported. Please make a once-only gift or regular donation to help keep it online. Visit ipswichtoday.com.au and click Donate. Follow and stream where you get podcasts, including the iHeart app, or play Ipswich Today on smart speakers. This is Allan Roebuck. Thank you for listening. Enjoying Ipswich Today? Please share the love on your socials.